Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're going to test out some automotive vinyl wrap. Now, I've never installed some before. I've always wanted to give it a try. Never owned a vehicle with vinyl wrap on before either. I've always kind of wondered how durable it is, especially if you want to use it as a daily driver here in Canada. So I ended up jumping on Amazon, tracked down a company called Vivvid. They seem to be a pretty good wrap provider. They do have some pretty decent reviews on Amazon, and they are based here out of Canada, so pretty stoked on that. Now, before going ahead and ordering a large roll and committing to a color, since I don't really have any experience in this at all, I decided to pick up a whole bunch of test samples, a couple of different colors and stuff like that, just to see what I like, see how close they are to what is actually advertised, and do I actually have the ability to install it on my own car. So I ended up going through. I have 5 color samples here, test samples, and also one little random piece of vinyl wrap left over from a friend's vehicle that was given to him by a previous owner. Is by a different company. If I try to put that on the car as well, just see how it works. Now, along with this, since most of this is not going to actually stay on the car, being that it is just small test rolls and I'm just kind of doing this for fun, I thought, why not take it a step further and really test out the durability of this product. Going to start throwing some stuff at it like rocks and some aggressive brushes and stuff that you might use for removing snow and stuff through the winter. I am planning on using one of my vehicles as a daily all year round, so I do want to see what this vinyl wrap can hold up to. Along with that, figured why not have a little bit of fun with it, even push it a little bit further, start throwing chemicals and things at it, maybe some diesel and some gasoline, wax and grease remover and some cleaners and stuff of that sort. And just try to find other things that might mark it up and just kind of see how durable it really is. And I do have some old scrap door panels sitting outside, or doors actually, not door panels, but I would like to test the difference between vinyl wrap and just a classic factory paint job. So I figured I might as well drag one of those in and can test them side by side, see how much damage is done to each surface, and really what these what this can withstand. So, all right, so here are the 5 colors from Vivvid laid out. Changed up the order a little bit, but we do have the charcoal gray satin, the red satin chrome, the matte black, the matte blood red, and then have the matte demon black over here. And it looks a little creased and stuff like that. That's because I actually ordered this one roll about 4 years ago, and it's just been sitting in a closet. I cut a little piece off, used it for something, and then it's just been sitting there. So that's why that one looks a little bit different. It is a fair bit older, but definitely happy with the condition of everything else. Liking what I'm seeing, so I'm going to try to get set up, get my tools. I'm going to clean the fenders on the Mustang, and I figured a good spot to install them would be right here on each fender on both sides. Kind of has some curvature, maybe some hard spots to work with, kind of give me an idea whether I can do this or not and how it's going to look, and we'll go from there. All right, so we're just going to follow the application instructions right here provided by Vivvid. Clean your surface, cut your wrap to size. Not going to really have to worry too much about that one since it's just a 1 by 5 foot piece. Peel and stick, be able to get it around and into position. Apply heat. Now this is a good step to know, as the wrap is not really fully activated and sticky until you apply heat and pressure. So if you just put it on with no heat gun or anything, you might actually have some adhesion problems. So definitely want to remember to properly heat the wrap up afterwards to make sure that it gets a nice adhesion. And then of course trim and detail around your edges and your lights. So we'll stick with that and give it a go. All right, let's give this a go. Got a couple of old cell phone holder magnets. Give it a go just to hold this in place. no idea where to start. Let's see. Yeah, feels all right. Get that tape off of there. Down and cut this panel at all. Any little rock chips or whatever that ran out, I just left it. I wanted to see what it would look like. You can definitely see little spots. So that is definitely going to have to be prepped a little better if I want to wrap this whole thing. Does seem to be fairly easy to work with without the heat. Alright, since my heat gun died and my phone died, while I was charging the phone back up a little bit, I went ahead and did a couple of spots on the flats that were super easy. Basically just had to lay it on there and squeegee it out a little bit, and it went on no problem. Now you can't see it at all in the footage from what I can tell so far, but in person I can see every bump and every little spot that like that kind of stuff. Anything that wasn't prepped, sanded down from a rock chip, I can see basically all of it through the vinyl wrap. So that kind of gives me a good idea of what I'm gonna have to do when the time comes to actually wrap the whole car. So gonna have to go over panel by panel and basically get everything smoothed out and looking good. A bunch of prep work. Same thing with this black. You can just see little bits all down. From afar, obviously looks pretty good. I'm definitely liking this black. Liking this black a lot. That is just a straight matte black. The matte blood red maybe is a bit too orange. The charcoal satin gray, not as dark as I thought it would be, but it is in direct sunlight, so I'd be curious to see what that looks like in the nighttime. Alright, so I was kind of wondering, since my heat gun's not working, can you use a blowtorch without damaging the wrap? And want to give it a try. No way. No way. Where is it? I did not think that was gonna work. Oh, yeah, that looks horrible. Whew. Probably not the best of ideas. Especially for somebody like me that lacks some skill. Oh, brutal. That's what you want to see on your wrap install. Whoa. That is not easy. Not easy. Okay. Interesting. All right, now, obviously I torched that spot, but the rest of the wrap actually looks pretty good. For as much as I stretched, pulled, and heated that, I don't think it really looks that horrible. If I could have actually put it down smooth, it would still look all right. Definitely liking the edge once you get the heat on there. That definitely helps. Little kinks that I gotta wire out. Feel a lot better if I'd be able to actually stretch it past the body panel and cut it in. But let's try a little heat there, see if we can finish off the gray. Oh, I did not like that direct heat. That is for sure. Oof. All right, going across the car, we have the charcoal satin gray, the matte blood red, followed with a little bit of matte demon black, some yellow, back to matte demon black, straight matte black, which I'm really digging, and then over to the red satin chrome. All right, I'm excited to get this outside and check out the colors in the last little bit of daylight. Just see how it looks, and then can move on to the other part of filming and start doing a little bit of durability and torture testing and just see how well this stuff stands up to a few things. All right, some first impressions walking up. That charcoal is definitely interesting. Kind of like it. That matte blood red definitely is more on the orangey side of red. Kind of hard to tell with that matte black now. Satin gloss or satin red, satin chrome. Very interesting. That is going to be a hard call. What color should the entire car go? All right, so I decided to order one more color and wasn't quite satisfied with what was on the car. Emerald green. Matte emerald green. I'm excited to see what this looks like. All right. We have the Vivvid 3M. I like the looks of that green. Unroll it a little bit and see how it looks. Yeah. Thanks, mushy. That is gonna look cool. That's gonna be nice in the sunlight. Almost looks kind of blue and then dark and then to green in the right light. Camera sucks, but we'll get there. All right, we are finally getting down to doing some testing. Ended up throwing a piece of the matte emerald green wrap on the rear quarter panel of the car. I think that's finally the color that I'd like to go with. Definitely putting off that look that I like. It'll go nice with some matte black accents. And yeah, we'll be able to do some tests on that and see how that stands up to the other colors that have been picked out. So a few of the things that I've kind of been curious about is just how a wrap would hold up to your daily use type of liquids and cleaners. So from oil to your engine coolant to some washer fluid, maybe some cleaners, just kind of see how that's going to affect the wrap, and then maybe move into something a little more aggressive, some brake clean, wax and grease remover, transmission fluid, stuff like that, kind of see how that holds up, and then get over to the abrasive side, see how it stands up against some keys, rocks, gravel, chains, maybe some rough fabric, grind like a U-bolt against it and just kind of put it through its paces. Now, I'm not going to be doing that on the body of the Mustang. I do have a door that you can probably see behind me that has some test pieces left over. Put it on the door. That's going to be what I'm going to use to do the really aggressive stuff with it. Maybe get fairly aggressive, hit it with some stuff, smash the door pretty good, throw some dents in it, see how it really holds up. And then maybe at the end as a finale, take everything that's on the table, mix it all into one big concoction, throw it on there, see if it messes it up or gasses me out. Yeah, let's get started and see how it goes. All right, we'll start with a little bit of windshield washer fluid. I know this is probably going to do absolutely nothing at all. It'll look just as it should. Probably clean it up kind of nice. Looks beauty. Yep, nothing wrong with that. That actually cleans it up quite nice. Well, won't be so aggressive with engine oil, but we'd like to see how that goes. Whoop. Let's get it right in there. And yes, I will pop the hood and get that little bit that fell in between there. All right, go with a little bit of coolant. Won't be so aggressive. Well, I'm gonna have to move over somewhere else. That is working totally fine. Kind of impressed. All right, hit it with a little bit of glass cleaner. Look at that, just cleans everything right up. Now, what about wheel cleaner? I got some aluminum wheel cleaner. And we have some cleaning wax. Let's get that on there. No problem from the wheel cleaner. I wasn't expecting that. Give it a little wax. Just a little wax. Huh. Well, it doesn't really seem to like that wax very much. Nope. Maybe I was wrong. Oh, weird. That is clean. Whew. All right, well, if me dumping oil down the side of my hood triggered you a little bit, don't worry. We'll move on to the door here. This will make life a little bit easier than moving the camera all around the car. To start off, there's a little bit of tape residue left on here from when the roll arrived a couple of years ago, actually. And that's why the tape is as gummy as it is. It's a little old. But I thought I'd start with some wax and grease remover. Kind of wanted to see if I can get that off. Most likely would use Glue Gun, but I don't have any of that on hand. Alright. I'd assume this stuff is gonna mess up the wrap a little bit. Let's see how some of the other guys do. Rub that on the green a little bit. Black, red, the matte. I got this charcoal gray over here. I was certain that wax and grease remover would mess up the wrap. Wow. I'm actually really impressed with that. Huh. What? No way. Yeah, I can't do that. Man, that's... What? Oh, damn, if wax and grease remover ain't doing it. Let's try engine cleaner. Ooh. I like that I'm using the same cloth through this whole thing, but what? This is awesome. All right, let's move on. Synthetic compressor oil. That's not going to do much. Oh, rub that on the mat. See what happens. No problems. Maybe this is just a miracle cloth. Who knew? This is crazy. What else we got? Engine cleaner. You gotta do old classic WD-40. We got battery cleaner and graphite that we're gonna try next. No way. This is awesome. And I can get anything on my car. Battery cleaner. Graphite. Whoa. That's a little aggressive. This is awesome. What? Alright. Let's really kick it up a notch. Let's try some off. Something completely unconventional. we go. Red satin's disappearing, matte black's disappearing, emerald green is gone, charcoal gray, matte red is gone. Nothing. I'm liking this already. This is good. Paint's doing its thing. It hasn't skipped a beat, as you'd expect. All right, last but not least, transmission and axle oil. Oh, that's viscous. Nothing. Oh. Making the wrap fall off though, that's not a surprise. I also didn't heat any of this really. Wow. All right, taking a close-up look, an examination. I know the liquids weren't on there very long, but it really didn't do anything to them at all. Everything still looks as it was when I put it on. And you can see just some of the smears there from me trying to wipe it down. Didn't get it off. But that's crazy. None of that did anything. I really thought it would at least react with like one of them or something. Alright, now since this is the color I'm going to go with, it is the one I'm a little more focused on wanting to see what it can take. So let's start with our top, some regular keys. Yeah, that's definitely not ideal. And for any of you freaking out about the body of the car, I was getting ready to prep and paint it anyways, so chill out, man. It's all good. I'm a horrible Jamaican. Alright, let's kind of continue on. Try the gray. That gray didn't show quite as much. You know, I am trying to go just about the same amount of pressure as if you weren't paying attention and just kind of rub and like maybe rub your hand with your keys against your car, not paying attention. And there are marks on the orange, blood red. But it is really hard to see them. That hides really well. That probably not so much. Alright, moving on. A little bit of matte Demon Black. That did pretty well. Kind of see it in there. We'll go to the matte black and the matte Demon. Definitely see it on the matte black. A fair bit more. Alright, satin chrome. Oh. That sounds horrible. But you can't see anything.
not expecting that satin chrome to hold up so well. That hid the best, I think. Let's head over to the door over here and we'll get really aggressive. Hope Tom doesn't mind. Your keys are pretty worn out already, bud. And I'm keeping away from your tag there. Oh, yep. Yeah, now you're starting to see it. Still really hard in that blood red. Green's doing not bad. Can barely see the satin. Oh, sorry guys. Gray shows a lot. And black actually shows a bit too. But from a distance, everything still looks fairly good. Alright. Just a leather work glove. But at least this stuff's a little rough. Kinda wanted to see. A little close up. Can't really see that. It's almost just giving it a buff. Okay, so the leather almost takes out, not takes out the swirl marks, but definitely kills them a little bit. All right, I like it. They're about a piece of wood, maybe you're carrying a piece of lumber. We won't really do that much on the Mustang, just in case there's something in there. So let's go over here. Some little marks. Man, that way to go, blood red. Few marks there. This gray is gonna be, oh yeah, sign my name. Hey, don't rub your wrap with wood. Well, we already know that's going to be no good. Just on the off chance. You know, and that's surprisingly good. All right, red. Let's see what you got. Let's take the fresh piece over here. How about the paint? And yes, this is a junk door. Let's just wipe it with the miracle cloth. Hold on. There's so much stuff in here. We'll just fill all the gaps in. Oh yeah. Still see the big scratches, but that actually kind of cleaned up all right. All right, Satin, what you got? Not too shabby. Oh, but well, if you like to lean against your car, maybe the charcoal is not the way to go, but it's still doing not bad. Let's move on to some sandpaper. See if we can 400 grit. Well, big surprise. That does exactly what you would expect sandpaper to do. Give it a nice little 400 grit finish. And it is red for the win. Like, yeah, there's scratches in there, but you can barely tell. Damn, blood red. You are killing it. All right, what's next? We have to do some gravel. No, don't necessarily need this stuff right here. We got lots of oil on the ground. All right, let's make gray the first victim. Welcome to your most unprofessional test video you have ever watched. Live from my garage. That is just taking a beating. Chrome's doing not bad. I've been leaving the old matte black for a little bit. Let's give this guy a try. Oh, yes, sirree. All right. Last but not least, let's try green. Yeah, that scratched up pretty good, as you would expect. All right, moving on. Not exactly sure what we're going to do with this, but let's give it a go. Wow, well, surprise. A sharp edge cut through the vinyl wrap. There we go. Man, that blood red. Yeah. U-bolt, why not? Yes, sirree, Bob. Just taking a beating. It continues. No, wasn't really sure. I'm gonna rub this cable on it, but let's give it a go. Man, if I had a work truck, I'd be putting the blood red on it. Definitely not the gray. All right, continuing on. We have a chain. Some chain action. Well, that definitely left bigger dents than I was expecting. That's okay. Once again, dents and all that damage. Red still hides it the most. Poor gray ain't doing so good. Satin's not bad. Black's doing alright. Okay, well, I think that's aggressive enough for that. I don't think anybody's really doing more than that to their vehicles. So let's make up a bit of a concoction. Everything's sitting over there on the ground and let's see what happens. All right, here we go. Whole bunch of whatnot and this and that. We're just gonna start chucking little bits of everything in here. You know, mask? No, why do I need a mask? Who needs a mask? I couldn't find it, so we're just going ahead anyways. So far this is just all a bunch of basically oil products, so that doesn't really mean too much except for getting into the windshield washer fluid. There's a good base. Alright, what else we got? Throwing that wax and grease remover. Keep that out of the way. Things are looking good. Whoa, whoa. Foamy engine cleaner. WD-40. Very clean. Let's get some close-ups of this. Alright, continuing on. A little bit of window cleaner, come on. Battery clean. Seafoam spray. Engine cleaner. We got some cleaning wax. Some dry graphite. There we go. And to finish it off, some aluminum cleaner. Oh yeah. Now last thing, we should probably try to find with some gasoline, but I don't have any around. But, all right, we can't forget our deep woods off. Let's get some. Oh yeah. That's exactly what you want to be handling with bare hands. Don't try this at home, people. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, let's let that sit for a second. And what are we going to clean that up with? The miracle cloth. Well, maybe not so much anymore. Ugh. Nothing. I need another cloth. Oh, that looked a little weird for a second. Grab another rag or microfiber. All right, let's get rid of that poor guy. All right, red, of course, looking good. That cleaned right up off of everything. I was hoping one of them would make it bubble or something, but no crazy reaction. Alright, this is our shop diesel fuel heater. Also kerosene and whatnot, but we're running diesel. We're going to take a little bit, try to get a little bit soaked up in there. Take that drip of mess over on here. Oh, noisy goose. Rub some on there, rub some on the red. We're gonna let that sit for a little bit. See if it does anything. Doesn't really seem like it. Now we're going to pour some gas on the other stuff over there and then clean it all up. Alright, we'll just do a couple drops and try not to create a environmental hazard here. All right, let that sit for a second, see what it does. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. Wipe this off. It smells lovely. That already looked pretty rough from before, but I don't see nothing. No bubbling. No popping. Clean up the diesel fuel. Once again, I don't see any discoloration. Except this one's not dry yet. Yeah, that's not really doing anything, even with the chrome. I like it. Diesel does nothing, gas seems to do nothing, at least in the short amount of time that it was on there. And pretty happy with that. So on we go. All right, now just to kind of end this off, just things like let's say a little bit of dust from the driveway. I've been kind of rubbing my hands on things, the little bits of dust. A little bit of dust hasn't really been doing that much. Been pretty nice for the most part. Even let some of this kind of hang down here, and it's still holding on. I'm letting it get all filthy, dirty, and it's still holding on to the lip. So if I actually gave that a nice cut, probably wouldn't look too bad, but definitely looks not very nice. So I can't wait to actually peel all this off of here now that I'm able to give it a little bit of a test and see if it helped any of you guys out a little bit. Make decisions on whether you want to wrap your car or not, what it can stand, and you know, I definitely learned some stuff myself. I thought it was not quite as durable as it is, so I'm happy with what I've learned through all this. So hopefully you guys did as well. And I cannot wait to wrap my car the rest of that color. That is going to be sweet. Well, thank you everyone for following along on this weird adventure of testing out stuff completely unorthodox. But I was just trying to have a little bit of fun and pass it along. So thank you for watching. Love you, Grandma. Love you, everyone. And now I'm going to pull this wrap off the car. So have a good one, everybody. See you later. Wee.